video mainly is going to focus on how you calculate overtime and also bonus on time saved, because those are the kind of questions that you'll be meeting under labor costing. So we'll start maybe with overtime, and we're going to actually use an example to even get to appreciate how we'll get to do all this. Yeah, so let's get to a question, and then I'll be explaining as we move on how we get to calculate these two aspects in labor costing. So take a look at the question on the screen. 3 employees work at a workshop at Majosa Limited during the first week of July 2004. The following details were recorded. You have a table there. It's just about understanding what's in the table there. There are a number of employees. The names of the employees is Kabwe, Mukuka, and there's Stomach Walia there as well. Okay, there are minutes allowed per unit. So what you're seeing there as minutes allowed per unit. Those are like standards that the company has set, that if you're producing a certain number of units, you would have to be first of all subject to this system that to make 1 unit, that's what they're saying, per unit, minutes per unit. So to make 1 unit for Kabwe there, it's supposed to be 14 minutes to make 1 unit. For Mukuka, it's actually 1 unit, it's 20 minutes. For Stomach Walia, it's 22 minutes, for 1 unit. So that's what they're telling you when you check the production that they've done, okay, and the like. Then there's actual production, right? In units, actual production, what they've done. That's what I'm saying. When you're coming to check the time that they will take, it will be based on this system that you'll be finding the time that they will take. Then there's also some actual hours that they've just worked. Okay, this stuff is usually given in the questions, the actual hours worked. Then you would come to make a comparison with these standard time periods that someone should spend on making those units. So usually what happens is that when it actually comes to bonus on time saved, right, it's usually given on time that is saved. How do you get that time that's saved? It's basically the actual hours and your standard time. So they will look at what you've actually done. That's the actual hours. For Kabwe there is 48, for Mukuka there is 40, Stomach there is 50. Now you want to get the standard time that someone should take for producing those particular units, then you compare. I hope we're together. Yeah, then you compare with the actual hours. Then you know this person has saved, this one hasn't saved. So let's start with how to get time saved. That's when we'll talk about overtime later. So you will check, okay, let's try and get the standard time that someone should take, right? Standard time. So Kabwe has produced 250 units. Okay, let's go ahead and find how long that should actually take according to the standard. So they say that for Kabwe, it's 1 unit, 14 minutes. Follow that proportion that's given there in the question according to the table. Now Kabwe has produced 250. Therefore, what do we get as our answer when we multiply that 250 by 14? I'm getting 3,500. Okay, these are minutes, by the way, but what we're trying to do is that we're trying to find the standard time that you should take. Then we'll make a comparison with the actual time that has been taken, which is actually now in hours, right? So we found minutes. Okay, let's get this part right. We found minutes, but want to make a comparison with something which is in hours. Don't you think we need to equally convert? Yeah, so we have to. So divide by 60. That's how we change to hours. When you divide this by 60, I'm getting 350 divided by 60, 58.33. That's what I'm getting. Hours, by the way. So this is like the standard time that someone should take. But they've told us that, looking at this Kabwe person, right, he took actual hours of 48. If you rewind the video, you will check on under actual hours that he took 48 hours. So actual, I've even put actual there below so that you can tell, okay, that's the actual. Now, how did I tell you that you find time saved? Time saved is basically a comparison between the standard hours and the actual hours. So look at the difference there. That's basically what time saved is. How do you know you've saved time? If you work below standard time, then you've saved. That's usually how it is. Okay, look at the time. This is actual 48. Standard, the one on top, the one I'm just sticking there, that's your standard. He's actually below standard. That's very good actually when you look at labor costing. You know, when you're working below what they've set as a company, you're doing something faster. So that's how it's pictured. Then you've saved time and they'll reward you for such. They even give bonuses, in fact. Yeah. So just get the time saved. It's just like 58.33 minus 48, giving you what? 10.33 hours. That's your time saved. Then, if there are bonuses, let's get this part right. If there are bonuses, it will be on this figure that you'll now be charging to get the total bonus that will be payable to this person. So let's look at the question. Look at that statement below the table. A bonus scheme is in operation where employees receive 60% of time saved at a normal basic rate. Where are the rates? The rates are in the table. Like where's the rate there per hour of 22,000 kwacha per hour. So he saved 10 hours. So we would have to subject those 10 hours to some, of course, some rate, and including what? That bonus is saying that you will receive 60% of time saved. Let's understand that and compute for Kabwe's bonus. So Kabwe saved 10.33. I hope we're together there. They said 60% of time saved. So you just say 60% of this, which I'm just saying 0.60. It's the same thing as 60%. 60% of what? Of time saved. That's how much bonus you'll be given. But of course, not forgetting the kwacha value, of course. How much do they value each hour that someone has worked? So 22,000 according to Kabwe. So you said 60% of that. The answer times is 22 will give you the total bonus payable by this individual. Okay, I hope we're together there as well. So 22,000 giving you 136,356. That's all. That's time saved bonus, and you have to come and add it to whatever payments, other payments that this person will be entitled to. So that's basically how you get time saved. This is what this video is even focusing more on. Then of course, if they ask you, for gross pay, you would add the bonus, the normal pay, then you add everything, just gross pay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So I've just specifically first picked one person in this video just for the sake of understanding how to calculate time saved. Then of course on your own now you can go and try and attempt the other individuals there. Let's try and look at overtime as well. How do you calculate overtime? Because this is the basis of this video actually. Okay, overtime, right? So look at the details still more below the table. The basic working week is 40 hours. I hope we're together there. The basic working week is 40 hours. Hours in excess are paid at time and a half. Just there. The moment you just hear hours in excess, what does that mean? Overtime. And it's paid at time and a half, and I'll explain what that means. So how do you tell that, okay, someone has worked overtime? How do you tell? Because we're just from making some standard hour calculation, actual hour calculation. So over time, please take note of this, is always based on what someone has actually worked. That's when they'll compare with what then the basic working week in terms of hours. That's how you usually compare over time. The company will say the basic working week should be so much. Then they'll look at what you've actually worked. Take note of that. And actually work has been given in the table above. So look at Kabwe. I said I'm just picking one example for the sake of this video. Okay, Kabwe Spatial there. He has actual hours of what? 48. Basic working week is what? 40 hours. What do you think? Has Kabwe Spatial worked overtime? Of course he has. 48 hours actual work. Standard there, or what they've put as a basic, 40 hours. So definitely that's how you get to tell that there's overtime there. Now let me help you understand that time and a half. So of course, take note of the rate that they pay per hour. Never forget that rate. It's very important because you want the amount that someone will be paid. So that's why that rate is always important when you're competing, whether it's bonuses or not. We need that rate. So let me share the screen to understand this. So 48, right? 48 is what you actually worked, minus the basic working week, 40. Get the overtime in terms of hours, 8 hours. I hope we're together. This is the overtime hours. Usually what happens is that those overtime hours are they are subject to a certain premium, okay, overtime premium, that is I'm about to even explain. So what do they mean by time and a half? Well, time and a half, that just simply means this, the time, the time that you've actually taken, okay, the time taken by you, the same actual time that you've taken, then it will be obviously, of course, multiplied by 10, right? Then plus a half of what? It's 10.5. That's what they mean by half, huh? Or you can say half of 0.5. Huh? Okay, and a half. That half is actually the overtime premium. So I said that half is actually the what? The overtime premium. Get that part right. Overtime premium. That's the half. The time you've actually taken, those 48 hours, then plus a certain what? Half that will just be added based on those overtime hours. They will like multiply a certain 0.5 to the rates, and then they'll multiply with those hours. That's what it means. So let me just explain this. So it's like this person took what? 48. Okay, what's the rate? The wage, sorry, rate per hour. It's that total 22,000 times 48 gives you 1,056,000 there. Okay, then what happens is that, okay, after they've given you, that's what they mean by a time. A time is that actual time you've taken. That's the first part. Then and a half. The half is what we've actually done. So that half that they actually mean, I said it's 0.5. Please take note of this. It's going to be 0.5 of, first of all, the normal rates that they give you, and what is in overtime, because you are just being given an extra pay for what? For overtime. So why would you put the 48 hours again? It won't make sense, right? Just the time that was in overtime. That's what you're subject to. That's what they'll compute the overtime pay on, and this is what they call the overtime premium. What we're just doing here, because it's a premium that is added to your basic pay, making it total overtime pay when you add the answers. So 0.5 by 22,000, okay, times 8. 88. I'm getting 88 here. Then you add these two. Then you get the total overtime pay. If you have been asking a question, what would be the total overtime pay? You add 1,056, okay, 1,056,000 total 1,144,000 kwacha. That's the total overtime pay for this Cowboy special person. That's how you handle overtime. Another approach, there are so many ways of killing a rat. People say that, huh? Okay, overtime is 8 hours, right? You might just say this, huh? Overtime hours by time and a half, right? What you do is that, since we're saying half is the premium, right? You might just say, okay, I'll say time, which they would say the normal hour, okay? Then half is 0.5. I hope we're together there. This is just another approach. If you don't like it, please, you can take the other one. And a half, which is 0.5. So and a half, which is 0.5. This is what you give. You get the total computation of what? Over time. You can just take it as this 1.5. That's what they mean by time and a half. You can just take it like that. Okay. And then it's like 8 by 1.5 times the pay, because it's subject to that pay per hour first of all. And then you compute 8 by 1.5. Okay, then times 22,264,000. That's one way. You're not yet done to get a total overtime pay. And then what you can just do is that you can, since you've like dealt with the extra 8 hours in focusing on the whole 1.5, the time and a half thing, you would exclude the 8 hours. Okay, times, of course, this times the normal pay. I've been getting 80, I think, on this one. So what you can do is that okay, you can just separate the 8 hours and compute the whole time and a half computation on it. That's like another interpretation. It just depends on how you understand questions, okay? But the first approach is the best. So I would even advise that 80,000, which you add to 264 to get the total overtime pay. I should believe you should get the same answer as previously. Yeah, it is actually coming out as 1,144,000. So it just depends on what approach you take and what you feel comfortable with. So that's what I just said. I'll pick it on recover with partial one, and basically that's that on overtime and time saved. So that's all.